Hello, everybody, and welcome to One Player. Today, on the table, gather round, warm your hands by the fire, because it is the coldest night. It's the time of year, is it not, where the days grow short, the nights grow long and cold, and we gather around the fire, roasting chestnuts and singing Christmas carols, I think. This isn't that, though. This is more like a brutal, frostbitten death in an alpine wilderness, where we are tasked with staying alive by placing various personal treasures onto the fire. Now, in the game, or in the rules, it states that we've stumbled upon an abandoned lodge and we're throwing someone else's possessions into the fire. I actually kind of prefer to think that it's like our family heirlooms that we have to burn. It gives it a more of a tense feeling, but, each to their own. The aim of the game, though, is to keep the fire burning all night long. The night is measured by these cards. Essentially, we have to get rid of all of these cards before, well, either we succumb to frostbite and sadly perish, looking like some kind of Shining-esque Jack Torrance, or yeah, that's pretty much it. Actually, that's the only option. Either we live or we die, and that's kind of the way the game is going to go. We do that by placing things on, like I said, on the fire. The fire has a heat level, so that's these numbers on the card. But also, all the cards have an ash level, which cannot exceed the heat level when played. We'll cover the rules as we go, but for now, let's get into it. Right, so in the solo game, this does have a multiplayer mode and a dedicated solo mode as well. This is actually one of the games, if you'd watched my Black Friday video that I'd picked up as part of that miniature market sale, it was like $15 or something, so I figured, I'll take a punt. It seems okay. I watched a Vassal review. He didn't really care for it, but he didn't talk about the solo mode particularly. And I was kind of fascinated enough to pull the trigger. Now, what I've done is dealt myself 4 cards. These are the cards that are available to place onto the fire, as aforementioned. To set up the deck, what we've done is we've divided it into 3 sections. So there's 8 cards on top, then the fire dwindles, another 8 cards, the fire dwindles again, and then 13 cards on the bottom. The fire dwindles essentially gives us frostbite, or it just goes into the fire and makes it kind of less hot. Yeah, less hot. Because you can't have a colder fire, right? Like, it's either hot or it's more hot, but it's not. You can't make the fire colder. That's not a thing. Anyway, we've got these 7 cards up here. I know you can't see the top 3, but they're not. The most important thing is down at the bottom here, which it says if the heat total is 9+ and we gain a certain one of these little treasures, usually those help us either heat up the fire or disregard one of these frostbite cards, which we gain if there's ever less than 3 items in the fire at one time. So you see now we've got a match, some newspapers, and some logs. That's very thematic and quite accurate to how a fire might go down. But we need to choose what we're going to place. So we can either choose a card from our hand, we can choose a card from these 7 up here. So I've got a cabinet door, a hollow book, I've got an end table up here which you can't see. And again, we have to play cards that have an ash value of less than the current heat of the fire, or less than or equal to, I should say. So for example, our current heat is 3 + 2 + 2, that is 7. My maths has not been great in recent videos, so I'm going to try my best to keep my simple arithmetic on point this time around. But I can, what that means is I can place either one of these 3 cards. Now, this dictionary will give us 3 heat, this encyclopedia will give us 3 heat, and this music box will give us 2 heat, but it also will allow us to remove a card of our choice from the fire pit. Instead of, at the end of the turn, we have to remove the rightmost card. This is like it's burned out, there's no more matches. So with this card we can choose on which one we want to remove. Now that would be very helpful if we had, say, like a big card here and we wanted to save it, but we don't. And so usually I think the tactic is to play the card with the highest ash value that you can manage, with the highest heat, pretty much. Because if I play this, it might be a waste because I might not be able to get up to this heat level again for some time, and then I'm stuck holding this encyclopedia until later on in the game where maybe it's more desperate that I want to get rid of it. So anyway, that means I'm going to place this down, and that's going to be my turn. So the other thing I can do on my turn, like I said, is either place from my hand or from here. I can also scavenge, which is take 3 cards from the deck and place them into my hand. In the solo game, that hasn't really worked out for me very much because you still, even if you don't place anything on the fire, it still burns out. So anytime you scavenge, and you've only got 3 things in the... anytime you scavenge, you've only got 3 things in the fire. 1 goes away, you've got 2 things, and then you get frostbite. So it's like, anytime you scavenge, it doesn't... It always ends up in frostbite, and that's not great, because you don't want to stack those cards. They're quite bad. Like, they really do hinder you from playing... Usually playing the cards you want to play. But, that said... that's our phase done. So the fire dies down. We've lost 1 thing. We're going to check for frostbite. We don't have frostbite because there's 3 things in the fire, and then we're going to draw a card. So we've drawn a rocking horse, and yeah, like I said, if this was your kid's rocking horse that you built for them, and you had to burn it to, have you and your family survive the cold winter night, I think that's much more interesting than burning someone else's rocking horse, because like, who cares? I'd burn the heck out of it. Hell, I'll throw it on the fire right now. What? But yeah, so we can always keep our eyes out as well for the heat total. So right now our heat total is 8, right? So do we have anything that gives us points for being 8? No, we don't. This one gives us points for being 7+, so maybe I could play that. It only gives us 1 heat though, but I don't think that's a bad idea. So we'll place the hollow book. I should mention, if there is only 2 cards to start, we can place multiple cards into the fire. Or even if there's only 1 card to start, we can place multiple cards into the fire to bring it up, but we can never go above 4. Like that, we don't want to catch the actual house on fire, do we? That would be a bigger problem. So heat total is +7. We can gain this cellar key. Not cellar key, sorry, cabinet key. And the cabinet key gives us the ability to draw a card. So we'll just keep this down here, and we can use this at any time. Yeah, all of these you can choose when to use, and they're just kind of like little powers that you gain. But yeah, we'll put the hollow book down. It makes sense that it doesn't provide a lot of heat because it's hollow, and we're going to lose the newspapers. So we've only got the logs around from the original fire, but that's okay. We've still got a heat score of 7, which is pretty high still. No frostbite because there's 3 things, and we're going to pull another card. Lampshade. Now this one you saw there was a positive gain, I guess, when you place the card. This one has a negative effect. So instead of removing the rightmost card, we have to remove the card with the highest heat value, so it loses the most heat. With that said, the card with the highest heat value is on the right, so actually these are pretty nice cards to play if that's the situation and you don't have to take the actual penalty, right? So I may actually do that, or I could get rid of something with a little higher ash value, like this one, say, and then I could remove the hollow book. So if I do that, because I do have an ash value of 7 or less, which is, well, it's 7, I'm going to add 2 heat to the fire, but I get to remove a card of my choice, which is going to be the hollow book. It's not doing as much good. And now we've got a heat value of 8, so not bad. I've got a picture frame. Heat value of 2. Yeah, I mean, I think it might be this one. Oh, okay. This one is actually pretty bad. This one is a burn 1, so it's essentially remove an additional card from the right of the fire pit. So essentially, this is like give yourself a frostbite card, right? Like, because it's like you have to place it down. These 2 go away in the cleanup phase and the fire dies down phase. And so, I mean, we might as well get it out of the way. Because again, we don't want to be stuck with these kind of high-level cards when because the fire will dwindle. It's been relatively steady for the first few turns here, but it will dwindle down. When we've got lots of 1 cards or lots of 2 cards, these high numbers are kind of precious, and you want to try to get rid of these as quickly as you can. So I will go burn 1, and we've burnt 6 heat out of our fire. We're going to end the turn with just 2 cards, and so we are going to have to take a frostbite. Frostbite. Loss of feeling. The ash value of every kindling card in your hand, that's these, is considered 1 higher. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. Now, the ways that we can get rid of Frostbite is either through one of these, I can't remember which one it is, I think it's the blanket. If we get a blanket, so if the heat total is 6 or below and we play this card, we can get a blanket, and I think that gets rid of Frostbite, if I remember correctly. But we can also have the fire equal the heat value of the Frostbite card. It has to equal exactly, not less than or more than. Exactly. So if we get a heat of 7 at the end of the turn, yeah, then we can get rid of this Frostbite card and no longer have to worry about its effects. But the ash value of every kindling card right now is higher, so that's okay. I think it does mean though that I don't really want to play this, but I could play this. I'm trying to think about how to get to 7. This one would make me remove the greatest card. Actually, I don't know if I can get to 7, can I? Because I'd have to have a 2 and a 1. So I could do this, and then I could do this in one of these. But I wouldn't get the benefit of any of these, because... Ooh, tricky. 3. No. So I'm trying to get it to add up to 7 without the music box, right? Because I take away the music box at the end of the turn. I draw the other cards, etc., etc., check for Frostbite, blah, blah, blah. But then at the start of my turn, I get the Frostbite removal phase. So that's when I need the fire to add up to 7. Like, not just right now where I could place it and it equals 7 and I get rid of it. No, it's at the start of the next turn. I don't think I can manage it unless I did like something like this, but then I'd get Frostbite again. And so it like would just trade out the Frostbites. Was not that helpful. So I've got a score of 6, and I think you know what, I will do this. I'll gain the blanket, and that way I've got an ash score that fits, right? 6, 3 is less than 6. Good learning opportunities once more. And if the heat total is 6 or below, I gain a blanket, and the blanket, yeah, discard 1 Frostbite. I don't know if I want to play it actually right away, but I might do. Let me just think about it. If I put this in there, then I've only got a heat score of 4, and that kind of limits my choices. But it might be nice just to get rid of it. Let's think. You know, you've got to pull the trigger sometimes, or maybe I'll just do it. Maybe I'll do it next turn. Maybe I'll put it in next turn, because then I'll have what? I'll have 4, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do this. So we've put the rocking horse in. We've got ourselves 3 more heat. Our heat total is 10. We lose the music box as the fire dies down. No Frostbite because we've got 3 cards. We're going to draw. And then, do we want to then place this? Because then we'll get rid of this and it doesn't matter. Yeah. So we'll get rid of this. The fire dies down. Now we've got a heat of 5. But that's okay. We could play this next turn to gain some alcohol, maybe some snaps. I don't know if it's to drink to keep us warm or to pour on the fire to keep us warm. But either way, it'll work. What do I need to do now? Oh yeah, pull a card. Sorry. Oh, I tell you what. If I put one of these, if I put this one down though, I'll have a heat value of 7, and we can lose the Frostbite. Perfect. So that one goes. Heat of 7 on the Frostbite card, goodbye, out of the game, and we didn't have to use our discard 1 Frostbite token, so that's pretty good, actually. I think that went pretty well. That was well planned. I didn't plan it. Heat of 7. None of these give us bonuses for heats of 7, so we're just going to keep going. We've got 1 chest up here, which is a 10 to 13. Maybe you can just see that peeking through. Again, not super important for you to see it, but there it is. It does have a very high ash value though, a 7. The other thing that I haven't figured out, so I already mentioned obviously that we have to get through the deck. We have to get through the deck in order to make it through the night. I don't know. In the multiplayer game, it's like get through all the deck and all of the cards in your hand, which makes sense, and we want to do that in the solo game as well. But I don't know if it includes these or not, because we've already removed some cards from the deck to build it. You remove like 14 cards for the solo game, so you've got a smaller deck than you play with multiplayer. And then of course you've got your extra 7 up here. I don't know if you have to get rid of these as well. I've been trying to play it as if you do, but I don't know. We'll see. House rule, I think, is what we're gonna land on there. So we've got no frostbite. We've got nothing else going on really. So, but we don't have anything to gain any, powers. So I guess we'll just get rid of something. Just get rid of something big, like this. That'll give us a heat of 6 for next turn. Yeah, why not? And I think we're coming up on the first fire dwindles, aren't we? I said it was 8 on top. It's not. It's 13, then 8, then 8. Sorry. I was like, surely we're coming up on a fire dwindles card. I've definitely played more than 8 cards. Table leg and tree branches, both forcing us to burn an extra card. So that's a bit of a shame. But, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to go with the table leg. It'll keep our heat up a little bit. It will burn 2 at the end of the turn, but we're going to pick up a card and a frostbite. You must play the lowest ash value kindling card from your hand. You cannot scavenge. Again, I don't scavenge very much in this game. I really don't. I mostly try to just play cards and keep it going. Cards with the lowest ash value. This is going to take... We need a score of 3 to get rid of this, which is a tiny little fire. A tiny, tiny fire. And I don't see how we're going to do that. This one might be the one that I pull the... Oh, hang on. Actually, this might work out pretty well. Look, this actually is the lowest. It's going to force me to discard 2, which means that when I check for frostbite, I do indeed have frostbite. Loss of circulation. My hand limit becomes 3. Goodness me. That's pretty bad. I draw a card, which I've got now my 3 hand limit. But then, because my heat total is 3, I've actually got rid of this frostbite card. So that is... It was kind of like... Not great, but... And I could do with bumping up the fire a wee bit. I suppose perhaps I could just play all of these. No, of course I can't, because I've only got 3. Well, I'm going to do this... Hang on. Let's do this first, right? If the heat total is 4 or below, it's 2 ash, 3 heat, so we can play it. That gives us a 4 heat now. So if the heat is 4 or below, gain a med pack. So emergency supplies, add the top card to the fire. Ooh. That could be helpful. I could do that now, but I could also do this, because the heat total is 4 or 5, and that would gain me my alcohol. I mean, it's not going to give me much by way of heat for next turn, but if I put this down now, then I'll have 5 heat, and it won't be so bad. Yeah, alright, alcohol it is, plus 1 heat while in the fire. Oh yeah, this one is a cool one. So you can, essentially you can place this down on any one of the cards, and it basically acts like it's an extra heat for this card, and then as it moves to the right and burns out, it stays with it, and then as soon as it goes, this goes as well. Alright, not bad. Now we've only got 3 cards to get rid of up here, and I've got 2 cards in my hand. My hand limit is still 3, which isn't terrible, and this is going to burn out, and we are doing okay. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. It's a cloth doll. The fire is going to dwindle, so that means it's going to go down, and essentially this 0/0 card is going to go in there, which does scupper things somewhat. We've got a heat of 5, so I need less than 5 ash. I can't put the mirror frame down. The cloth doll, I can't put the cloth doll down. Okay, so I've only got one option, so I'll put this one down, the nightgown. The couch upholstery is gone, and now this goes to the top of the fire. This comes into my hand. It's a diary. Ooh, that's nice. But it's not going to be good enough because... Or I'm not going to have enough to play it, which is a real shame. It's a 7, but I get to remove a target of my choice, which obviously would be nice to have that. I suppose I could give this a score of 1 heat, couldn't I? And then we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, and I could play... Ooh, I could play my mirror frame. All right, so that's essentially another turn, isn't it? Because I can't add anything else to this. My hand limit is still 3, so I can't pull any more cards. I don't have Frostbite because I've still got 3 cards in the fire. I can't pull any cards, though. Unfortunately, that's not great. But in the next turn... What's my heat? Oh, I need to have a heat of 9 to do this. Yeah, that's going to be a way off. But I can place this, because I've got 3, 2, 1. Adds up to 6. That's 6. 4. So I've got a total of 6 again. Oh no, I'll have a total of 7 heat. When the dictionary burns out. And we've got the nightgown. Check for Frostbite. No, we're good. We can pull a card. The oil painting. Like, if you imagine, like, this is a painting that you did. Like, this is you and your partner here. A lovely getaway by the lake, and you spent hours on this. And now you're like, guess we're just going to throw it on the fire. I like that more. I like that. It's a bit more... It's a bit darker, but, you know, why not? I mean, if you're going into the wilderness with fingerless gloves, I feel like you deserve everything you get. Just saying. Just saying. What, are you a cat burglar, or are you a mountain survivalist? You can only be one. You can't do both. Right, let's see. What I might like to do... I've got 6, 7... Oh, hang on, I've got 7. Alright, yeah, why don't I do this then? I'll play this. This is a terror. Like, just don't even bother. Just don't even bother putting the cloth doll in there. It's not even worth it. I get to target, so I'm going to remove this and keep the nightgown. This little token goes away. But the nightgown is kept, so at least we've got an extra 2. So we've got 8 heat on the fire right now, which is pretty decent. And we'll pull the next card. Wallpaper for 8. Burn 1, which, oof, that's tough. I suppose we'll have to do it. Let's do it. So we're going to burn an extra 1. Now we've only got heat of 3. So it's like, immediately you throw... Like, whoever threw the wallpaper on the fire is getting glances, aren't they? I mean, they're getting... Or at least, if we're playing this multiplayer, they're getting... They're getting glances. They've just, like, smothered the fire entirely with a big pile of wallpaper. Not the best tactic. So we are going to get Frostbite. Although I can play this. I think I can play this, actually, in the cleanup phase. Hold on. I can place this right now. So even though I've already completed the main phase, I'm going to do this and then add a card to the fire so I don't get Frostbite. Oh, look at that. I gain an axe. Brilliant. Draw 1 card or 1 heat. Alright. Pretty good. That's fine. I mean, there's only 4 heat in there, so it's not exactly roaring. Heat of 4. I can't play either of these, and this one is going to burn an extra 1 again. These are all... I'm going to miss the benefit of them if I don't have a hotter fire. But I'm not sure I'm going to get a hotter fire. This is like... Yeah, this is bad, isn't it? I mean, there's no way... There's no way I'm going to make this. Alright, I've got Frostbite, so... Paranoia. You cannot be given kindling cards. You cannot use lucky tokens to draw kindling cards. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to be given kindling cards by anybody, but we cannot use lucky find tokens to draw cards. So that's those 2 off the map. That's fine, though. Should I get rid of this? Get rid of my hand limit. I'm going to save it for now, just in case. And I'm going to draw a card, and it's 5. Oh, dear. Okay, that's pretty bad. Because I don't have anything I can play, except these ones. So I suppose what I'll have to do is... Boy, oh boy. Okay, I'm going to have to play the end table, because it doesn't cost me any ash. And then I'm going to play the rags on top. So I've got 4 cards in the fire, and I'll have a total of 5. Oh, that's perfect, actually, because I can get rid of this. Brilliant. All right, so that's gone. My heat total is 5. That means I've got no frostbite card, and I can get rid of this because I've hit the specific total. Nice. All right, good. Not bad. I didn't plan that one, but it still worked out. I suppose we'll just throw these napkins on. I did that out of order. Sorry. That's what I meant to do. Napkins, then kindling. And now we're on to the next dwindles. We've got a dollhouse, which I will play. What? I will play the dollhouse. The end table will go. Check for frostbite. We're good. This one is going to go in there. I draw a card. It's more. Oh my goodness, that's awful. Look at that. Like, I don't have a hot enough fire. I'm nowhere close to having a hot enough fire. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can do. This might be it, you know. Okay, hold on. I've got to get rid of my hand limit. Discard 1 frostbite. I have to, because I have to draw a card here. Actually, let me use this one first. I've got to draw a card. I need it to not be. I guess I could scavenge, couldn't I? I'm gonna have to scavenge instead of. Yeah, I'm gonna This is what I'm gonna scavenge. I'm gonna scavenge and get some more cards in my hand, and that way the fire is gonna dwindle, but it'll be okay because I can hopefully rescue it. So I'm gonna draw the top 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, they're all so big. I've got all 6s and 7s except this one, which is also getting rid of the hottest. So that is pretty bad. Okay. We've got a chance to make it very hot, though, so that might be a saving grace. Alright, so we scavenge, that's it. The fire dies down, the rags are burnt, and we're going to check for frostbite. We're good there. We're going to draw another card. We're nearly at the end of the deck, which is nice. I don't know that we're going to win, because, again, we've only got 4 here. So I actually cannot play any of the cards from my hand. I'm going to have to do this to give it 1 heat and play this one. It's still going to have only 4 next turn, though. Ooh, I think I'm dead. I might be dead. I've got too many high cards. I think I might be dead. Let's do this. We'll place this down because we can, because we've got 2, 4, 5. That one's done, though. We're going to have to remove the greatest, which is the cloth napkins. So that's fine. But the fire dwindles really set us up for disaster on this level because we check for frostbite. We're good there. We're going to draw this card, which is, oh, it's a worn paperback. Okay, we might still have a chance. No, I don't think we do. Remove the card again with a higher seat value. Or should I scavenge? No, I shouldn't scavenge because I've only got 3 cards. Okay, so the dollhouse is going. We've still got a fire value of 4. We don't have frostbite, but we are going to... Oh my gosh. We are going to die. I'm almost positive we're going to die. Because we've got this can go in because 3 is less than 4, but we then have to remove this because it's greatest again. The fire dwindles. The worn paperback is still around. We've got another fire dwindles, which is the end of the game, unless we can get rid of all these cards. But we definitely cannot because we've got a heat of 3, and all of our cards require a heat of 6 or 7 or more. Wow, I don't know if we got unlucky in the cards that I took out of the deck, because I mean it feels like there was a lot of high ash cards in this round. But that said, I've never won this game and I've been playing it all week, so maybe it's just a very difficult game. But yeah, that's it. That's the Coldest Night. Nice and simple, pretty straightforward. I think it's more of it's definitely like a filler game. It's not something that I would like. It's not something I would like bring to a board game night and be like, guys, I can't wait for you to play this. But it would be one of those things where I'd be like, all right, we've got 15 or 20 minutes. Let's get warmed up before playing the game that we're actually here to play, or something like that. Or it's relatively simple and straightforward. So I think this could be a good kind of entry level game too for somebody who's maybe never played hobby board games before. So I'm not as down on it as a couple of the reviews that I read after I purchased it. I'm not as down on it. I think, you know, the components are nice, the cards are like decent quality. I haven't played multiplayer, so, you know, I don't know if it is good, but I can imagine that it would be, you have to work together obviously to keep the fire going, and you're not allowed to talk about, you know, you're not allowed to talk about like what cards you have or like how hot you need the fire or whatever, so that's adds, I guess, a little bit of intrigue to it. That's the coldest night. It stayed cold and we perished. But we had a jolly good time, didn't we? We had a jolly good time, didn't we? That is going to be it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Before I go, I do have to say, go and check out the Discord. The One Player Discord is up and running. We've got some lovely folks on there already, and some great conversations, some good recommendations flowing, and lots of print and plays being shared over there. I would love to have you come and join us. Come check it out. Come introduce yourselves. Come chat and meet some fellow solo board gamers. It will be a lovely time, I promise. Other than that, feel free to drop a like if you like, and if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to the channel. That would be lovely. And yeah, that is going to be it from me. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.